Hi, it's Ra, Rishi Kavi, Ragudas from Star Presence Astrology, here to give the astrological forecast for Friday, March 20th, 2026. Well, happy. This is a beautiful celebratory day. First of all, of course, it is the equinox. The vernal or spring equinox in the Northern Hemisphere, the autumnal equinox in the Southern Hemisphere. And so it's one of the major turning points of the year where the energy is relatively balanced. So we could certainly use that. It is also Ostara, which is the pagan or Wiccan holiday celebrating the equinox. It is also International Astrology Day. That's right. A few years back, they came up with this, and where else would you put International Astrology Day but on the spring equinox, of course, which is the very beginning of the zodiac. And of course, that means that the sun does indeed go into the very first degree of the very first sign today. That is 0 degrees of the dynamic and impetuous fire sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Hence, I am in double red here today because the moon is also moving through the mid to late degrees of Mars-ruled Aries. Now, of course, just before that happens, during the pre-dawn hours, there is a lovely moon conjunct Venus aspect. So we start off on a very sweet note. 2:23 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time is when that's exact. 5:23 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and 10:23 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. The sun moves into Aries. The actual equinox occurs at 7:46 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 10:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 3:46 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Not only that, Mercury retrograde is over today. Hallelujah. Yeah, boy, that was a big one. I just came back from LA and drove like 9.5 hours back to Northern California, and I am beat. So I may not see the equinox in the morning, but I'll be up for the Mercury stationing direct at 12:33 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 3:33 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 8:33 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That was a big one, wasn't it? But it is over. Mercury retrograde is over. Mercury turns direct today. Now, the moon, as I mentioned, is moving through the mid to late degrees of Aries, and the only other aspect it makes is a conjunction to Chiron, called the wounded healer, at 24 degrees of Aries, which means that, well, issues could come up, but issues can also be resolved today. It is called the Rainbow Bridge for a reason. It is about self-integration, another good aspect today. 3:23 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 6:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 11:23 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And as if all of that weren't enough, the moon very late tonight moves into the steady as she goes Earth sign of Taurus, 11:35 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 2:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 7:35 a.m. tomorrow Greenwich Mean Time. So it just got in under the wire. So sun changes signs, moon changes signs. In my view, that's what I call a chameleon day. More than one planet changing signs. We have it all today. Congratulations. We made it through Mercury retrograde, and spring or autumn, wherever you are, is here. I'm Ra, Rishi Kavi Ragudas, almost beside myself with excitement, from Star Presence Astrology. Now, if you would like to have a personal reading with me to celebrate all of this abundance, you can book it on my website, starpresence.net. Remember, for the very moment that you're born, you've got star presence. Enjoy today, and I know you will, no matter what.